We lived in a little sod house out in the middle of the prairie. We don't have trees and woods anywhere. I knew that the Indians had stayed between me and the house so that I wouldn't see them sneaking up the back. And they got in the house. I went running to the house and I swung open the front door and I saw the knife come as it slit my throat. Immediately I'm out at the ceiling and I'm looking down and I could see my body laying inside the door. I could hear my mama screaming, crawling across the floor trying to get to me before she dies. I am at the ceiling and I'm screaming at my mama, I'm sorry. But you can't hear me. I said, what did you learn from this? Anything? Yeah. Never leave an argument, because you may never get the chance to say you're sorry again. Life can end that quickly. He turned his whole life around. His respect for his family, his parents, his mother, everything changed that day in that one event. He never did another regression as far as I know, but he loves his mama. So these can change your life. And that's just one sample of the many, many things I've seen health issues released. Immediately, healings taking place. It's the individual that does it by releasing a sickness that you've been carrying from life to life to life. You may experience this as watching a movie, but you may experience, like one did, so connected that you're there. The young lady I did kept sitting up in the middle of her regression, and I was relatively new at the time. I'd only been doing it for a couple of years. And she would be there laying back in a lounge chair, and every few minutes she was in the field of battle. She was fighting with King Arthur. She was a male, wearing armor, sword fighting in the battlefield. She's telling me step by step what's taking place. And every few minutes she'd sit up in the chair and she'd look around, and I'd think, oh man, she'd come out of it. And she'd close her eyes and back down, and she'd right back in it again. After it was finished, I asked her, I said, what was going on? She said, man, I was on that battlefield. I was pumped so full of adrenaline. I was wearing my armor. I could feel the blows on my sword. I could feel other swords hitting my armor. I was covered with blood and sweat. I was at the peak of my enjoyment. I was on my target. I was where I wanted to be. This is what I lived for and finally what I died for. But man, I was right there. And I was sitting there saying, man, this is real. And then I'd open my eyes and I'd look around. I'm in the living room with you and I know I'm safe. I'd go right back into it again. So all kinds of things can happen in any levels of that. So when you have issues, you don't know you have these issues. A lot of things that seem like they're normal. You may have a pain in the shoulder. You may have a scar somewhere. You say, where did this birthmark come from? It's stuff that you could be carrying from the past. You have an issue that science or the doctors have said, we've tried all we can do, we're not able to do anything for it. Something to look into. You have a person that has something they keep saying that doesn't make sense. Like a phrase or a word. Like one lady, she kept saying, you know, I just can't breathe through my nose. My whole life it feels like I've got gravel up my nose. What does it feel like to have gravel up your nose? Well, she found out because we went on a regression and found out she was buried alive. Once she experienced that regression, her problem was gone, never came back. She saw that in that life, and in that life, it always amazes me, no matter how big and brawly the person is, I'll say, what was the lesson that you had to learn? And I'll say, I had to learn to forgive, or I had to learn to love. This could be a New York cop that would rather just ring next than what he would do anything else. But when he's in a past life regression, he's at a totally different state. And the lessons are the simple things in life. They're not complicated. It's don't carry an issue with another person. Forgive. Don't just judge why something happens. A person may have had no choice but to do what they did in a past life. You're still carrying it. The biggest thing to do is look at your own life. If you want to experience a past life regression, fine. It's not just a toy to go in and play with, unless you feel like you can really afford it. Take the group regression class. It's a simple, affordable method to see what a past life regression is about. Do your own spiritual work. Through some of your work, a lot of this stuff can be spontaneous. And a lot of this stuff will come to you in your sleep, even after us talking about it. When you go to sleep at night, if you start asking for information about something that's taking place in your life now, if you ask the right question, you can start to connect and start to get answers. It doesn't have to be a led one-on-one past life regression. A led one-on-one past life regression, we got about 4 pieces of forms that you fill out because you're serious if you're going to do it. It can take anywhere from about 1 hour to about 4 or 5 hours. So we're there until it's over with. So we don't get to control how fast it goes. And I've gone through as many as 7 or 8 lifetimes in a single session when their higher self and spirit decided they were going to follow an issue that they were going to have to deal with. And we deal with it. So those are serious. Those can cost anywhere from $150 to $350 for a personal past life regression one-on-one. But by the time you come for that, usually you've probably already spent several hundred times more than that at a hospital and doctors, psychologists, everything else trying to deal with an issue. And then you finally give up with that level and you say, okay, well maybe this is something that can help. All the answers to everything that has taken place inside of your body, your mind, and your spirit is contained between your spirit self and your mind. Your mind and your body are connected. They work together. Your body can fix what's wrong with it, but you have to find some of those resources using your mind. I've got just one more thing to say, and it's a short introduction. If I can find it now that she's here. Sarah, come on up here. I have a helper that works with me, and she has a job that she was working at today, so she was late getting here. And this is Sarah. Now, Sarah has studied psychology, health science, and religion. And after reading a book titled The Journey of the Soul by Michael Newton, she came to the realization that we are both biological and emotional creatures. And what ties us to perfection is our soul, the most perfect part of us. She pursued a master's degree in mental health counseling and is now continuing training in past life regression in an effort to find ways to more consciously connect the physical person with their higher self, to explore the possibility of having the person's soul answer their own most difficult questions. Sarah, you want to say anything?
Yeah, a lot of people always think that, past life regression, I want to clarify that sometimes it's not as epic. You don't go through epic battles. Sometimes some of your simplest lives are the ones that you get to learn from the most. The most interesting thing about past life regression is that almost always you most likely won't see anything that's not in correlation to what you're going through right now. So like Louis said before, your higher self is the one that most of the time, well, all of the time, determine what you see. So if you're going through something right now, most likely you're going to see something that happened, and you're going to get a lesson from that to apply to this life. So it's not as like, oh, so sorry, I'm going to go into my past life, it's going to be fun. You're going to get something out of it, and you're going to apply it now, and that's what makes it so meaningful, because a lot of times, not a lot of people could answer your questions, no matter how, how much they study, how sophisticated they are. Nobody could really understand you the way you want to understand you, except you sometimes. And it feels like you're talking and nobody gets it, and you're asking all these questions and nobody gets it. But it's a way for you to get your answers from you, and nobody could take that away from you. So that's one of the greatest things about the past life regression class.
Thank you.
Yeah. Can I say one thing about the youth council?
Go ahead.
I know he talked earlier about the youth council class, and it's
Talk
one
to
of
this person here. Talk to her.
it's one of my favorites. I'm gonna talk to everybody just in case anybody's interested in taking it. It's one of my personal favorite because it's hard to explain unless you take the class. But I was trying to explain it to somebody, and this is what I said. I said, imagine you had a limited amount of resources. Like, you had all the money in the world. Think about the things you not spend time on. For example, if your car had some issue and you're in a budget, right? You're like, my car has issues, I have a $900 budget, I have to shop around for the best auto repair. Now you spend hours and hours looking, comparing prices, and you're like, oh, I don't want nobody to cheat me. And ladies, they always try to cheat us because we don't know too much. Well, I don't know too much. But imagine you had unlimited resources, and you could just pay somebody to do that for you. Wouldn't you pay that person to do it for you and just do whatever and go, you know what, look for the information for me, and once you get it, I'll just trust your judgment and I'll just go to the auto shop. The only thing I have to do is take the car. That's how having a youth council kind of works. It's not like they're your servant and they do everything for you. They just make the little things in your life a lot easier than it will have been if you're by yourself. It's just like having a best friend in spirit. Or best friends in spirit, because it's a couple of them. So think about how much easier your life will get a little bit, and what makes it so powerful is you see the result. A lot of time you're in the spiritual, into the metaphysical, and you hear a lot of people have different stories about, oh, this is what happened. You're like, why can't nothing like that happen to me? Nothing ever happens to me. I never get to see that. And having a youth council, you get to see the physical effect of you asking for help. I need help with my studies. Hey, and you're taking the test, and you're like, hey, and you don't even recall until later, like, hey, usually I usually get C's and D's, now I'm getting B's, this is weird. Or something even more tangible. I wish I could have like a parking spot right there. And you turn around like, okay, what just happened? Or people actually listen to me, am I getting answers? It's just getting the physical evidence of your prayers, your requests, or however you want to call them. And that's why the youth council is one of my personal favorite, because a lot of people that never got to experience that, somebody out there is listening to me, get to experience it in their everyday life. So.
Thank you. Well, Sarah does have a sheet here. I would like for y'all that are interested to let her have your name and email address. We would also like to know if you are a teacher, if you have anything that you would like to work with out of the retreat center, at least make a connection with us now so we can start to communicate a little bit as we move forward so that these things can start to come together. And we'll see where it goes as we move forward here over the next few months. So if you are a teacher or anything else, or if you'll just put your name and email on there, we will send you an email updating you of when we're going to have meetings to discuss the center or other things, and also for the youth council class, ladder class, where you can contact us about past life regressions or anything else. We have cards here. We have flyers over here on everything that I just talked about. Please feel free to get in touch with us, ask any questions or anything else. Does anyone here have any questions about anything we just talked about? Does anyone remember hearing anything we just talked about?
I remember it. Leslie over here was thinking hard. Very hard.
We're done?